After marathon hours in front of a parole board in California, Eric Menendez was denied parole, and Matt Gutman is joining us from San Diego. Matt, what's the latest? How did they come to this decision?
They had to pour through a voluminous amount of case file, thousands of pages. Juju, that's even before today's marathon. 10-hour session lasted. It was just a short time ago that the parole board finished explaining why it came to this decision. So let me break that down very briefly. Basically, it was a 3-year denial, which means that Eric Menendez can appear before a parole board again within 3 years, but it'll probably be sooner than that, closer to 18 months. Here's why they came to this decision, despite the fact that Eric had an almost unblemished record in prison, exemplary conduct in prison, especially over the past 20 years. They talked about his pre-murder burglaries back in the late 80s, before the 1989 murders. He did it twice. They also talked about his multiple cell phone violation infractions that Eric had smuggled, or had cell phones smuggled into the prison. He paid $1,000 for one. He apparently took another from a prison guard, or bought one from a prison guard. And that, according to the parole board, showed a certain level of criminality. And finally, it was the shotgunning of Kitty Menendez, Eric and Lyle's mother. That is something that the parole board simply could not get beyond. They basically said she didn't have to die, and asked Eric point blank, "Why did you shoot her?" Eric said, "I thought that she was complicit. She had betrayed us, and I wish to this day that I hadn't done it." So a crushing defeat, really, for the Menendez brothers after they felt that they had come so close after being resentenced just a couple of months ago from life without the possibility of parole to 50 years to life, opening the possibility for parole, which, again, denied pretty vehemently from this parole board today, Juju.
And yet, Matt, you've reported extensively on the different avenues of appeal that the Menendez brothers have taken to the legal system. There is the matter of the clemency appeal with the governor. What are the other options available to them at this point?
This was the primary appeal, right? It was through resentencing. There is also clemency. The governor, Gavin Newsom, could decide at any point, it's at his discretion, that he believes that the Menendez brothers have served their time and should be released, recommending their parole. There's also a habeas petition, which is essentially saying that new information has come to light that the court needs to see. The new DA in Los Angeles, Nathan Hochman, has basically shut the habeas down. That is not a very likely path right now, and it's extremely unlikely that Governor Newsom is going to grant the brothers clemency after a parole board so roundly declined and denied their attempt at parole this time, pretty much excoriating the brother, Eric Menendez's conduct in prison, and specifically his burglaries and the murder of his mother. There were some glowing statements. He did mention that the hospice work and Eric's conduct and creation of various programs, including a green space program in that prison behind me, was something that was commendable. But he found overall that this is not a person who is fit to be released. And again, the primary standard here is whether Eric poses an unreasonable risk to society if released. And of course, tomorrow, Lyle Menendez will be up. He doesn't have as many blemishes on his record, but he also doesn't have as an outstanding a record in prison as a model prisoner as Eric did. So that's up in the air as well. And again, Juju, we're more than 10 hours into this process today.
Matt Gutman, thank you, as always, for your attention to detail and all this reporting. I should tell you now that we're getting statements from the family of Eric and Lyle Menendez. They're saying that while we respect the decision, today's outcome was, of course, disappointing and not what we hoped for. Our belief in Eric remains unwavering, and we know that he will take the board's recommendation in stride. His remorse, growth, and the positive impact he's had on others speak for themselves. We'll continue to stand by him and hold hope that he'll be able to return soon. They also point to tomorrow's hearing with Lyle, who will also face similar members of the California parole board.